So a top nuclear scientist in Iran was assassinated on Friday, killed in an alleged assassination that the country's foreign minister linked to Israel. Mohsen Fakhrizadeh, considered one of the masterminds of Iran's controversial nuclear program, died after his car was apparently ambushed in a district of East Tehran. There's photos of like a shattered windshield and blood, and it's awful. Fakhrizadeh was head of the research center of a new technology in the elite Revolutionary Guards and was a leading figure in Iran's nuclear program for many years. Several top Iranian officials have condemned the attack and threatened to retaliate. All incredibly scary, but it's important to have the context. Israel has not actually claimed responsibility for this attack, so we don't actually know, but we do know that there is precedent and there is reason to believe that it could be Israel. During the past decade, Iran has accused Israel of killing at least 5 of its nuclear scientists. Fakhrizadeh is considered the most senior and high profile. Western and intelligence services had described him for years as the leader of a covert atomic bomb program halted in 2003. And Netanyahu painted Fakhrizadeh as a central figure in the program during a 2018 public presentation, accusing Iran of continuing to seek nuclear weapons. So I wanna get into a little bit, there's a lot of context, Brett, so I wanna get into a little bit of that. But just so everyone knows, it's not clear that there was a nuclear weapon being developed by Fakhrizadeh or the Iranians at all. We do know that they were seeking nuclear power and they have been seeking nuclear power, but as a source, Israel's not really a solid source to go to when it comes to Iran's nuclear program. But for some better analysis on this, the Trita Parsi is just so solid. He's a co-founder and executive vice president of the Quincy Institute for Responsible Statecraft. I wanna go to some of his tweets. He says, Israel is a prime suspect because of a few factors. It has the expertise and capacity, it has done it before, it has the motivation. Either way, the assassination and other likely future attacks will harden Iran's position and complicate, if not hinder, the Biden team's attempts to revive diplomacy. And that serves Netanyahu's interests as well. And he says that conducting attacks in Iran has few downsides for Israel. Either Iran lashes out and sparks a broader conflict that sucks in the US, bringing about a US-Iran confrontation that Netanyahu has long sought. And then finally, we're now in a worse situation for the next 50 days. The main impact of attacks of this kind will not be to set back Iran's program, but to render diplomacy for Biden more difficult. Trump will not push back against these attacks. He may even be encouraging and aiding them. So Trita says essentially to buckle up, this could get worse. And remind you, this is about 10 months after one of Iran's top generals, Qasem Soleimani, was also killed by the United States in like a massive drone strike. Brett, what do you think? World War III? We going there?
No, I don't think it's World War III. I think this is, it feels very much like Israel, probably without Donald Trump's knowledge, just going like, I think we can get away with this right now. We know where he is. Let's make a move, because what is it going to do? Make it less likely that we get into, make it less likely we get back into a nuclear agreement. Like,
right?
Okay.
Yeah.
You have the right-wing government of Israel doing something similar to what Trump did by attacking Qasem Soleimani, but it's just weirder. It's not weirder, it's a scientist this time, someone that they feel is very important in the potential development of nuclear weapons or some other technology. But I think the play here is like Israel going like, what's it gonna get? This is gonna make things worse. They're probably not gonna wanna go into an armed conflict. That's just my guess.
Yeah.
I don't think it's much worse now than it was last week. And I think it's just a calculated risk from Israel, but that's pure speculation based on probably the same stuff that Trita is looking at.
Yeah, I mean, we know Pompeo visited Israel. Apparently now Jared Kushner is headed to Israel to settle something, which could be an indication that maybe the Trump administration didn't know this was going to happen. But again, I think sort of turning a blind eye and being A-okay with it might be along the same lines, although the US might not have been as involved as it has been in the past in terms of seeking and targeting some of these same Iranian scientists. And all of this, I think the real focus has to be about the ways that Israel's trying to thwart diplomacy between the US and Iran, right? And the fact that the legacy of the Obama administration, one of the good things, right, was the Iran deal. And the fact that that took a lot of work. People, right wingers on all sides, right wingers in the US like Tom Cotton hated it. Right wingers like Netanyahu in Israel hated it. Right-wingers in Iran hated it. And so the more the right wing is emboldened in these three countries, the farther we are from any kind of diplomacy, the closer we are to pushing Iran to actually develop nuclear weapons. And so it serves Israel in a lot of different ways to push Iran toward a more extreme position, because then it shows to the US that they can't be trusted. So the idea is to break down relations, and the more these crazies are emboldened in every country, the worse, the worst way out of this, the less of a peaceful way out of this there is.
Right. You got a right-wing government in Israel. You got a fundamentalist right-wing, even like you got ayatollahs in running Iran. The previous calculation that allowed the Iran nuclear deal to happen was that a more moderate group of people replaced the more fundamentalist people in Iran, because the sanctions were working and there was faith among the human beings in Iran that weren't part of the government that you should enter into a deal with the Americans, because we need to alleviate this crippling economic situation. The Obama administration said, sure, let's do it. They got into an agreement which gave Rouhani and more credibility. Things were looking up. That's not to say that there weren't people in Iran that were looking really hard to secretly develop a nuclear weapon. It's just that we had on paper that they were not doing that, and we made it harder for them to do so because we were checking a bunch of places where they probably were making nuclear weapons in our estimation. We made it harder for them. Now we've just made it easier for them because they're allowed to develop nuclear weapons because they're not in our agreement anymore. So they can do it wherever the hell they please. And that pressure from the people in Iran that were like, listen, we gotta start dealing with the Americans is only lessened now. Yes. Because they're like, fool me twice, shame on me.
Yeah. Exactly.
So that's the only difference. And I don't know, marginally, I think Netanyahu's like, I'm fine with that situation because I need an enemy in Iran that we can all point to say that they're evil and we're good. But marginally, I don't think it makes it that much more dangerous to kill a scientist than killing the top general in the country.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. And there are elections coming up in Iran, and so Rouhani might not actually be reelected. And he again was someone who was a more moderate, but staving off some of the more right wingers is going to be hard. But so far, and this is crazy, right? You consider the US, as Americans, we're always told that Iranians or that Iran, like they're the funders of terrorism and they're unstable. But in this situation, it's Iran that seems to be exercising restraint. They say that there will be some kind of retaliation, but they're not doing it yet. They haven't said what it is yet. There was, obviously some retaliation for the murder of Qasem Soleimani in Syria, and that was sort of like kind of all for show. But again, one more fire that the Trump administration is trying to light, whether by tacit support of Israel, which I believe that there was, but trying to usher in and put Biden in a hard place. And we know from past experience, the Democrats are not above being baited into war, right? And that they are not above expanding wars and doing all the wrong things when it comes to actually trying to de-escalate. I hope that a Biden administration doesn't take the bait. And I sure as hell hope that, Iran actually sees that maybe, hey, the guy who was vice president when the Iran deal was actually negotiated, he's coming back. So hold on, just wait. But yeah, it is incredibly scary and volatile, and it's a much longer discussion about the entire region and the US's terrible role in it.
For more political news, breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.